Before you go swimming this summer, keep in mind that there's a lot going on under the sea that we don't yet know about. 70% of the Earth's surface is beneath the sea, but 95% of it is unexplored by humans. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean seabed. This has resulted in some strange discoveries in the water. From the mysterious ghost fleets of Japan to the Underwater Pyramid of Yonaguni, some truly mysterious things have been discovered underwater. Keep watching until the end. You wouldn't want to miss out on the 2,000-year-old computer. Here are the top 15 underwater discoveries that cannot be explained. Number 15. Bimini Road, Bahamas. Greek legend has it that the city of Atlantis sank into the ocean in a single day 11,000 years ago, wiping out its existence. Since then, scientists, treasure hunters, and philosophers have searched in vain for any trace of the lost world, which is said to be partially intact somewhere beneath the ocean waves. As one of the world's most well-known legends, anything resembling a man-made structure discovered during an ocean dive sparks massive media attention. A diver discovered a series of stones 18 feet below the surface off the coast of North Bimini Islands, Bahamas in 1968. The stones appeared to be man-made and were evenly spaced out in a half-mile road-like line. The discovery sparked an outpouring of media attention, with some claiming the stones were part of a wall or road that was once part of a larger city. Everyone hoped that it would lead to the discovery of Atlantis, and the discovery of two other similar so-called roads fueled the excitement. The Bimini Road is made of limestone blocks, the majority of which are rectangular in shape. The majority of them appear to have been cut with right angles at first, but time underwater has eroded them into a rounded shape. The main road's blocks are 10 to 13 feet long and 7 to 10 feet wide, while the two side roads have smaller but equally spaced blocks. The bigger blocks appear to be lined up and arranged in sized order. Some of them appear to be stacked as if purposefully propped up. Wherever this road came from, it's an awesome sight to see beneath the waves. Number 14. Christ of the Abyss. The Christ of the Abyss, with his head and hands raised to the sky, is the world's first underwater statue devoted to divers and those lost at sea. The bronze statue is located on the Ligurian Riviera in San Frutuoso, between Camogli and Portofino. Following the death of the first Italian to wear scuba gear, Dario Gonzatti, in 1947, fellow diver Duilio Marcante wanted to honor his friend by creating an underwater shrine. Guido Galletti, a sculptor, was commissioned to create a 2.5-meter bronze statue of Jesus Christ looking to the heavens, asking for God's blessing and protection. The statue weighs 260 kilograms and is attached to a concrete base to keep it anchored during storms. The Christ of the Abyss was placed on the seabed 17 meters off the harbor on August 22, 1954. The Christ of the Abyss has since become a popular tourist attraction over the years. The area is in a nature reserve and is difficult to reach by car or public transportation, but they do have many marked and maintained hiking trails for those who enjoy the beauty of nature. You can visit the underwater shrine by visiting one of the diving centers in San Frutuoso. You can take a boat ride through the area, but there's no guarantee that you'll see the statue. Number 13. Movement of tectonic plates. In recent years, the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates have grown further apart as the North American plate has moved westward. This spectacular occurrence can be seen on land, as well as by diving deep between the two plates near Iceland. A number of underwater photographers and scuba divers have done this. Alexander Mustard, a diver and marine biologist who has explored this area, describes his experience as incredible. He mentions that the sheer walls and clear water can cause nausea in visitors. Though the future cannot be predicted completely, scientists can make predictions based on the current rate of plate motion, which is approximately 2.5 centimeters per year.
A few thousand miles northwest of California.
The Silfra Fissure is one of Iceland's most amazing natural wonders. It's the only location on the planet where you can dive and swim between two tectonic plates. The Thingvellir earthquakes of 1789 opened several fissures, but the Silfra Fissure cut into an underground spring filled with glacial meltwater from the nearby Langjökull Glacier. It's also one of the few places where you can dive between continents. In some cases, the space between the walls is so small that you can touch North America and Europe at the same time. Number 12. Ancient underwater city of Pavlo Petri. An urban revolution began in Greece 6,000 years ago. People began to live in more planned and structured communities rather than forming random settlements and villages. Cities emerged as a result. The remains of one such city, thought to be one of the oldest in the Greek Peloponnese, holds clues to what these early urban settlements looked like. There are well-planned streets, residential neighborhoods with gardens, a harbor with warehouses, government buildings for administration, temples, and an area with stone chamber tombs. We know a lot about this city, but we don't know what its original name was, and we have no idea what happened to it. There could have been a single large earthquake, a series of smaller ones, or a tsunami, or the sea level could have just naturally risen over time. What we do know is that this city, now known as Pavlo Petri, became submerged underwater. Archaeologists believe that it's the world's oldest submerged city. After discovering and identifying elements dating back to the Bronze Age, scientists were able to determine that Pavlo Petri was first inhabited in 2800 BC. Perhaps the most notable feature of this area is that its overall layout has remained intact until now, making it a site of exceptional importance to archaeologists. According to researchers, the city was submerged after a series of 3 cataclysmic earthquakes struck the area around 1000 BC. Its secrets have remained known for thousands of years, untouched by human intervention. And if you're into underwater archaeology, this is the place to go, as the architectural remains of this sunken city can be seen at only a depth of about 3 meters. Number 11. Bering Sea Canyons. If you liked the underwater sculpture, you'll love this underwater canyon. It's so massive that it can only be seen from space. Isn't that crazy? Jemchug is the deepest underwater canyon in the Bering Sea. Jemchug could fit the entire Grand Canyon inside it, with a volume of 5,800 cubic kilometers and a depth of 2.6 kilometers. Submarines, as well as the various marine life found in the Bering Sea, can travel through this deep sea site. Many species of ocean wildlife use Jemchug Canyon as a habitat. For example, the endangered short-tailed albatross congregates to feed over the canyon's surface waters. Northern fur seals, dolphins, and a variety of whale species all feed in the canyon. Because Jemchug Canyon is so vast, the underwater canyon can only be seen in its entirety if you're above the Earth's curvature. So unless you have connections that can get you off Earth and into a spaceship, you may have to settle for watching videos. Number 10. Light bulb jellyfish. Darkness rules the deep sea. The sun's rays don't penetrate much deeper than 60 meters below the ocean's surface. To see the animal life, gelatinous or otherwise, that thrives at greater depths, scientists use submersible vehicles equipped with powerful lights. However, in order to truly comprehend life down there, those lights must be turned off. That's when the native lights, the mystical blue flickers of bioluminescence produced by hydrozoan jellyfish of the deep, become visible. The light, produced by a chemical process within hydrozoan jellyfish, is known as bioluminescence. The glow is caused by the reaction of luciferin with oxygen. This causes energy to be released and light to be emitted. The reaction is aided by an enzyme known as luciferase. Sometimes luciferin and luciferase are combined with oxygen to form a single molecule known as a photoprotein. When an ion, such as calcium, is present, a reaction occurs that produces light. To glow regularly, jellyfish must constantly replenish their luciferin supply. They may appear cute, but be aware that they're dangerous. Hydrozoan jellyfish are a taxonomic class of very small predatory animals that can live alone or in colonies, and are mostly found in saltwater. Number 9. Britain's Atlantis. Britain formed the northwest corner of an icy continent at the end of the last ice age. Climate change has since revealed a vast continental shelf for humans to inhabit. Warming temperatures and rising sea levels gradually flooded low-lying areas, and a catastrophic eruption of water from a North American glacial lake and a tsunami from a submarine landslide off Norway flooded what remained of Doggerland 8,200 years ago. However, not is all lost from that time. Doggerlander nomadic presence can be found embedded in the seafloor, where modern fishermen frequently find ancient bones and tools dating back to around 9,000 years ago.
No. Railway.
These artifacts drew the attention of British and Dutch archaeologists and paleontologists to Doggerland's submerged history. But things aren't always what they appear to be. Looking at the area between mainland Europe and the eastern coast of Great Britain, you'd never guess it was anything other than a vast body of water. However, around 12,000 years ago, as the last major ice age was coming to an end, the area was very different. Doggerland was a series of gently sloping hills, marshland, heavily wooded valleys, and swampy lagoons, instead of the North Sea. Also, Mesolithic people lived in Doggerland. They were hunter-gatherers who migrated with the seasons, fishing, hunting, and collecting food such as hazelnuts and berries. Number 8. Ruins of Atlit Yam. No matter how many ancient cities are discovered in the depths of the sea, they're always intriguing. Atlit Yam's ruins are 8 to 12 meters deep in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Israel. The city, discovered in 1984, is thought to date from the Neolithic era and is one of the largest underwater settlements ever discovered. Atlit Yam exploration has yielded the remains of houses, water wells, humans, and animals, as well as objects, artifacts, and mysterious structures dating back thousands of years. One of the site's most impressive structures is thought to be a ritual site made of massive stones arranged in a circle around what was once a spring. The stone-built well, which was excavated to a depth of 5.5 meters, is another significant structural element of the site. Archaeologists also discovered sediment fill containing animal bones, stone, flint, wood, and bone artifacts at the well's base. This indicates that in its final stages, it was no longer used as a water well and was instead used as a disposal pit. The change in function was most likely caused by the salinization of the water due to sea level rise. The Atlit Yam wells were most likely dug and built during the earliest stages of occupation at the end of the 9th millennium BC and were critical to the survival of a permanent settlement in the area. Number 7. The Ghost Fleet. Shipwrecks are some of the most interesting things to find in the ocean. They tell a story from another era, provide clues about what happened and who was present, or simply just look cool. During World War I, dozens of shipyards across the United States built a fleet of wooden steamships to aid the fight against Germany. Ospreys now nest on the boats, and bats breed within the hulls. More than 100 of these historic vessels remain, providing half-submerged habitats for fish, beavers, waterfowl, and vegetation along a stretch of the Pontomac River near Mallows Bay, Maryland. Chuuk Lagoon is located in the Pacific Ocean's Caroline Islands, north of New Guinea and east of the Philippines. The wreckage of numerous Japanese ships and aircraft that were destroyed during World War II were also discovered there. The Ghost Fleet was the subject of a Jacques Cousteau film released in 1969, in which the wreckage was explored and the site began to be recovered. However, bodies are said to have been discovered among the ships and planes, and the site is partially visible from above the water's surface. The wreckage of Japan's Imperial Fleet is a fantastic example of an underwater discovery that is not only fascinating, but also informative and historic. Number 6. The Great Blue Hole. With a name like this, the Great Blue Hole of Belize should draw curious divers and thrill seekers, and it does. This natural sinkhole, located off the coast of Belize, is the largest ever recorded. The Belize Blue Hole, long a secret known only to Belizean fishermen, became popular in 1971 when iconic marine biologist and undersea explorer Jacques Cousteau visited the site. Cousteau and his crew aboard the Calypso explored the Blue Hole's depths, confirming that it was formed thousands of years ago when a rising tide flooded a network of caves. The Belize Blue Hole, named by Cousteau as one of the top 10 best diving spots on the planet, is located about 60 miles off the coast of Belize. The Belize Blue Hole is a nearly perfectly circular body of water surrounded by the Lighthouse Reef Atoll. Divers can begin their descent to the now flooded cave by using the shallow waters of the atoll's lagoon. The cave contains stalactites and stalagmites up to 40 feet in length. The coral atoll that surrounds the Belize Blue Hole has an inner ring of shallow, lighter-colored water that forms a natural ring around the flooded cave's deeper sapphire waters. When the cave flooded thousands of years ago, the Belize Blue Hole was formed, a vertical entrance over 980 feet across, with the bottom more than 400 feet below the sea's surface.
Before we go on, do like this video, smash that subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face while you're sleeping.
It's time for today's subscriber pick. Yes, this is exactly what it looks like. A skeleton tied to a chair at the bottom of the sea. Obviously, he wasn't always like this. According to legend, during World War I, one of the Nazi commissioners was tasked with getting rid of the prisoners, and he used to throw prisoners bound to chairs into the sea. This skeleton was discovered by deep-sea divers in 2019, and thankfully, one of them was one of our subscribers, who sent us this image with only a brief explanation. Do you believe that this is the skeleton of an unfortunate prisoner? If this is the case, why is only one skeleton discovered but not the others? Remember to comment down below with the hashtag subscriberpick and let us know what you think. Now, on to the next topic. Number 5. An ancient Greek computer. It was May 17, 1901, when Spiridon Stais, a Greek politician, visited a museum that housed treasures from an ancient shipwreck. Among all the artifacts, there was a round, green-encrusted piece of metal that caught his eye, as it looked like nothing else taken up from the bottom of the sea surrounding the tiny Greek island of Antikythera. Local fishermen had just discovered the shipwreck by chance. A 2,000-year-old ship discovered off the coast of a Greek island yielded a trove of treasures, including vases, jewelry, and a bronze statue. But there was one object that baffled archaeologists at the time. It would take another century for scientists to realize the significance of this object. This round, green-encrusted piece of metal was given the name of the Antikythera mechanism. The handheld device dates back 2,000 years and predicted astronomical events for its ancient Greek users, such as planet movements and lunar and solar eclipses. Many researchers have dubbed the invention the world's first analog computer due to its stunningly sophisticated design. The device appears to have a set of interlocking bronze gears and a hand crank to turn the geared mechanism, as well as a display that showed information about the moon, sun, and planets against a background of stars. The Antikythera mechanism strongly suggests an ancient Greek tradition of complex mechanical technology, which was passed down through the Arab world and served as the foundation for European clockmaking techniques. Number 4. Yonaguni Underwater Pyramid. Scientists disagree on whether the giant stone structures lying just below the waters off Yonaguni-jima are the remains of a lost Japanese Atlantis or entirely natural formations. Masaki Kimura, a marine geologist at Japan's University of the Ryukyus who has dived at the site for over 15 years, believes that they're the ruins of a 5,000-year-old city. Yonaguni-jima is an island located near the southern tip of Japan's Ryukyu archipelago, approximately 75 miles east of Taiwan. The Yonaguni formations were discovered by a local diver in 1986, and a promontory on the island was unofficially renamed Iseki Hanto, or Ruins Point. Some experts believe the structures are all that remains of Mu, a legendary Pacific civilization thought to have vanished beneath the waves. The structures appear to include the ruins of a castle, a triumphal arch, 5 temples, and at least one large stadium, all of which are linked by roads and water channels and are partially protected by what appear to be massive retaining walls. The ruins are at least 5,000 years old, according to the dates of stalactites discovered inside underwater caves that he claims sank with the city. Additionally, similar structures to the nearby ruins have yielded charcoal dating to 1,600 years ago, at least possibly indicating ancient human inhabitants. Number 3. The Himalayan Skeleton Lake. Rummu Lake is located in the Indian Himalayas, approximately 16,500 feet above sea level. A frosty pond in a lonely, snowbound valley, it's only 130 feet wide and is frozen for much of the year. On warmer days, however, it puts on a macabre show, as hundreds of human skeletons, some with flesh still attached, arise from Skeleton Lake. Who were these people, and what happened to them? One popular theory held that they died at the same time in a catastrophic event over 1,000 years ago. An unpublished anthropological survey conducted several years ago examined 5 skeletons and estimated their age to be 1,200 years. For several decades, anthropologists had known about Rummu Lake, but little was known about the origins of its skeletons. The remains have been disturbed and moved by rock slides, migrating ice, and even human visitors, making it difficult to determine when and how the individuals were buried, let alone who they were. Based on current populations estimates, these individuals fall into 3 distinct genetic groups. 23 people, both men and women, had South Asian ancestors. Their remains were discovered in the lake between the 7th and 10th centuries, but not all at once. Some skeletons were older than others, implying that many were interred at the lake decades apart. It's anyone's guess how all of these people died. There's no evidence of bacterial infections, so an epidemic is unlikely. Perhaps the difficult high-altitude environment was fatal, or perhaps it was just a burial ground for multiple different peoples, but no one knows for sure. Number 2. The Goblin Shark. Meet the stuff of nightmares, an aquatic ninja with extendable jaws and nail-like teeth that detects its prey's electrical fields and sneaks up on them. Luckily, you're not a fish. The goblin shark is one of those shark species that astounds anyone who comes into contact with it. Because this shark resembles prehistoric monsters, it's sometimes referred to as a living fossil. This shark is the only known living member of the Istucarinidae family, which dates back over 125 million years. The goblin shark certainly has a distinct appearance, with an elongated flat snout that gives it the appearance of a goblin, thus the name. This shark species may not compete with others in terms of size, speed, or even strength, but the goblin shark certainly embodies mystery. The common name goblin shark is a translation of the original Japanese name tenguzame. A tengu is a Japanese mythical creature with a red face and a long nose, and same means shark in Japanese. The common name for this shark species is elfin shark. Number 1. Sunken Soviet Prison. Following decades of communist rule, the Soviet Union's satellite states were in a state of disarray. Many of these countries have since worked hard to improve their image in order to erase any trace of their destructive past and usher in a new age of peace. A prison complex in northern Estonia serves as a visible reminder of the Soviet era. Undaunted, the destination has evolved into a popular beach hangout for both tourists and locals. A place that once housed thousands of inmates has since been transformed into a relaxing spot for locals to sun and scuba dive. Limestone deposits are one of Estonia's most profitable natural resources, which is why the Soviet Union chose to locate the prison outside the small town of Rummu. Incarcerated people were the ideal solution for a process that required a lot of physical labor to extract soft rock from the quarry. Since then, the quarry and its active water pumps were abandoned when Estonia regained its independence in 1991. As a result, groundwater quickly seeped in, filling the large hole and causing some of the buildings to collapse. However, the destruction of one landscape allowed the beauty of another to shine through. Surrounded by rigid white ash cliffs, the striking blue waters allowed a gentle curve of green vegetation to envelop the area. This area is now known as the Blue Lagoon and is popular with both locals and tourists all year. Sunbathers can lounge on the beach or scale the steep cliffs that surround the quarry. The more daring ones swim out to the ruins to dive off the prison's roof. Rummu Quarry is also a popular destination for scuba divers due to its crystal clear waters. Take your flippers and an oxygen tank with you as you explore what has essentially become an underwater museum. Old mining equipment, machinery, barbed wire, brick walls, and prison cells make for a fascinating swim indeed. Which of these things do you think is the most mysterious? Do you think we'll ever fully understand what these things are? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us to understand what kind of content you enjoy, and that way we can tell what kind of videos you're looking for next. Tap that bell icon if you're always looking to learn new things, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.